Hi, my name is Sean Bianca, and I'm GOP Girl of GOP Girl blog. You can read my blog at www.gopgirlblog.blogspot.com. Are you angry, Americans? Are you angry about what took place this past weekend? Bombings, a bomb goes off in New York. We have 3 there. We have another 3 in New Jersey. There were 5 total. No one got hurt. Oh no, that's not true. What, 29 people got hurt this past weekend in New York walking down the street because of a bomb going off in a garbage pail? And then we have a stabbing in Minnesota. I don't know if anyone saw any pictures of anyone who was stabbed by the perpetrator, but it was this thick. The man whose picture I saw was a heavy guy. Anyone with little fat would have been dead. Looked like the man was trying to behead him. He had hacks here and everywhere. I'm sorry, but America, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. Does this not make you want to vote for Donald Trump? I mean, since 9/11, we have allowed over 110,000 immigrants, refugees into this country. Over 110,000, maybe more. Most of them are Muslim. Now, I don't know, but has anyone that's put a bomb in a garbage pail or that bombed at the Boston Marathon, were they Christian? No. What about San Bernardino? Were they Jewish? No. What is the commonality, people? They are Muslim. They are believers of the Islamic religion. We have a president that refuses to say it. You can't defeat an enemy if you can't name it. And the fact is, the religion of Islam threatens the security of Americans. And we do not have a president that has had our backs. No, we just had over 800 that were made citizens. It was a mistake. Do you believe that? I don't believe it. I don't believe anything. We have a president that has created ISIS along with Hillary Clinton. We have Hillary Clinton who, if she becomes president, wants to allow 550% more Syrian refugees into this country. Now, people, I cannot say this enough. The 5 wealthiest nations in the Mideast will not allow a 1 Syrian refugee into their country. And yet, we're allowing thousands, over 100,000 to be exact. As for see something, say something, well, you know what? The government does nothing. If anyone missed it today, the father of the bomber who was shot yesterday had actually called the FBI and said, I think my son may be a terrorist. Sorry guys, I got disconnected. Anyway, he stabbed the other son and he apparently beat the wife, the mother. The FBI said, oops, he's not on the terrorist list. Not on the watch list. Oh, he went to Afghanistan several times, but they don't pay attention to that. No, that's the problem. We are being politically correct. I'm going to go further. About 8 months ago, I saw a Muslim woman by a carousel taking pictures of the underbelly of the carousel. It was a rainy night. There was no one around. She didn't have children. It wasn't like the carousel was lit up. It was at a little shopping center nearby. And I called the police. You know what the police did? The police laughed. And I said, well, officer, not for nothing, but I just saw one of the FBI agents say on television, if you see something, say something. Well, there you go. They do nothing. Now, how would I feel if the carousel were all of a sudden blown up? Not that it couldn't still happen. Because these people, they watch us. They watch us, they observe us. They watch our every move. They want to know, when is it the busiest time? When can we get the most women? When can we get the most children? They want to see where the gay people go. They are watching our every move. And they are watching and they are waiting for the right time to attack. Like it or not, Muslims cannot be trusted. Now, I know I'll be called a racist. I know all people from the Mideast are not horrible people. But I'm going to give you an example. I'm in a store at the mall. I knew this family was obviously from the Mideast. They looked to be of Arabic descent. And my dog barked at their dog. And I apologize. They were very warm, welcoming, and friendly. On the flip side, the other evening, I was out. There were two men, obviously of Arabic descent. They were sitting off in a corner. One was friendly, one was not. They were at a hot spot. They were not drinking. They were not dancing. They did not want to be social. However, I ended up meeting the more friendly one. He seemed like a nice guy. His cousin was not. And I've seen this look once before. I think you all know the name Mohammed Atta, right? 9/11. I think he was the one who flew into the World Trade Center, and he had a partner. Well, I lived in Miami at the time, and I saw both he and the other man several times. In fact, both my mother and I did. When we saw the paper on the 12th of September with the two faces, we both looked at each other and said, "Oh my gosh, we've seen them." And they were not friendly. There was another man who I had played golf with that knew them. I never saw him again. They pulled him off the driving range. He was beside me. They told him, "Come here. We have to go now." Their eyes are like ice. Their eyes have a hatred like you've never seen. These people do not like us. And you know what? There is no reason for us to take them in. There is absolutely nothing in the Constitution that says we have to take in every refugee around the world. Why not? Why not put some charity here at home? How about our vets that have fought for our country, that are committing suicide because they need medication from depression? I mean, what about our homeless people that are mentally ill, that can't get the help that they need? Do we not have enough people here in the United States that we can help? That we have to bring in over 110,000 people? Many of them that in the back of their minds or in the front of their minds want to kill us? I'm sorry, but our president, he has not been a leader to us. He has not been a president that has protected us. We have had the most homegrown terrorist attacks here in the United States under Obama than any other president. And Democrats, you have to admit that that's the truth. But yeah, let's get to that. Let's get to the Democrats, and let's get to the Republicans in the establishment that refuse to support Donald Trump. Sure, a lot of you have heard H.W. Bush is voting for Hillary Clinton. Well, guess what? I have a tip for you all. The Bushes, I lived in Miami. I lived in the same neighborhood as Jeb Bush. I campaigned for Jeb Bush. I campaigned for H.W. Bush. I campaigned for George W. Bush. And one of my neighbors said, "They're drug dealers." Telling you, they're drug dealers. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that the family that I so looked up to, the family that I campaigned for, I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe that they could be the bad guys. But it's all starting to make sense now. It's starting to make sense because H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, they're in bed together. Not literally, but they're on the same page. It's rumored that back when Bill Clinton was governor, he and Hillary had a drug running business going. 2 kids were killed that supposedly saw what was going on. Mysteriously, they died. It's in one of my previous blogs, The Clintons, the most politically corrupt couple in the United States history. Yes, I see that, Bush drug dealers. Yes, and you know what? The neighbor that told me that the Bushes were drug dealers, he was rumored to be a drug dealer too. Yeah. I lived in a neighborhood in Coral Gables by the ocean, and it was where many of the big drug dealers lived. So yeah, I know. I didn't want to know, but now I see the writing on the wall. And this is why the Republicans in the establishment that are opposing Donald Trump are. It's money. It's money. It's all about money. John Kasich, I just read the other day, he received millions from Soros. He's crooked too, apparently. Every one of them that is opposing Donald Trump is opposing Donald Trump for a reason. Every one of you that voted for Bernie Sanders, you voted for Bernie Sanders because he wasn't of the establishment. Likewise, Donald Trump is not of the establishment. He's not your run-of-the-mill Republican. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If those Republicans that are refusing to support Donald Trump, if they cost Donald Trump the election, I will leave the Republican Party and I will probably never vote again, because what's the point? It's all corrupt, and that's what it's about. I've learned a lot these past few months, and it's actually been it's been kind of difficult because I had so much respect for those in Washington. And going back to our refugee crisis, look, we need a president that is going to name our enemy. Our enemy is radical Islam. Now, there are Muslim professors that will tell you that there is no such thing between a moderate, there's no difference between a moderate and a radical. Because the religion of Islam, if you read about it, if you read a summary about it, it condones the killing of gay people. It condones the killing of women if they want to leave their husbands. It condones beating women. It condones beheading people because they are not of our religion. The picture I saw the other day of the man who was hacked at the Minnesota Mall looked like they were trying to behead him. And you know what? I hope I'm not right, but I can guarantee you that we will have a beheading. Actually, the United States already has. In one of my blogs, I wrote it. A man's wife, he was Muslim. It was way back. I was really surprised. I think it was back in the late 70s or the early 80s. And he beheaded his wife because she was going to leave him. It's a bit harsh, I'd say. But America needs a president that is going to go through, have a cabinet with someone in charge of Homeland Security that's truly in charge of Homeland Security, that will go through a list with his team with a fine-tooth comb and deport every single Muslim that is suspicious. If they are going back and forth between Afghanistan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, I don't care where, if they're going back and forth, then number one, why are they here? I mean, if they like it so damn much over there, then go, get out. But they're not. You see, they're going back and forth because they want to come back to kill us. Thanks to Obama, the United States of America is now like Israel. We are now like Europe. Actually, Israel is safer. Do you know if you go into a mall in Israel, you have to go through a metal detector? And it's going to reach that point here. You mark my words. If we don't get rid of these people, it will get to that point. I have no doubt that in my city, a terrorist attack will take place. I mean, Omar Mateen, who was in Orlando, he was already at a shopping center nearby. We have Omar Mateen's wife, who the FBI let go. If that doesn't tell you that we don't have a government that is protecting us, I don't know what does. We let the wife go, and they don't have a clue of where she is. Really? I don't buy that. Do you? I mean, Americans, do you like the fact that, as one general said, now, when you walk out your front door, that's the front line. Because you no longer know if you are safe. There was a time when terrorism happened in Israel. But then, because the Europeans, the liberal Europeans, decided to just open their borders, we have women in Germany. We had the mass raping of women New Year's Eve in Germany last year. In Sweden, yes, I think you liberals should hear this. In Sweden, ladies, 1 out of every 5 women is being raped, predominantly by Muslims. And by the way, there was a 29-year-old young mother who was abducted, taken to a refugee camp, a Syrian refugee camp in Sweden. She was gang raped, marathon gang raped, by 11 men for 7 hours, sometimes 3 at the same time. And they screamed, "whore," as they raped her. She is now in a wheelchair, incapacitated. And yet, guess what? Our government's not going to tell you about that. Our media is not going to tell you about that. Already in Idaho, I don't know if anyone saw that story, but in Idaho, we had an 8-year-old who was raped by 3 Muslim boys. One was 13, another one was 8, the other was 11. Because, see, it's okay. That's another part of the Islamic religion I think you ladies that are not voting for Donald Trump should know. The religion of Islam allows for Muslim men to rape non-Muslim women. Get that straight. So you're free game. Free game. So when you walk out that door, you are free game for any Muslim man. That 8-year-old that was raped by 3 boys, she was held at knife point. One of them had a knife at her throat. 8 years old? 8 years old? And she has to endure that? And apparently the 13-year-old told the other boys how to rape her, and they couldn't, so they urinated on her instead. This shouldn't have happened. This never should have taken place. San Bernardino never should have taken place. The Boston bombing never should have taken place. The bombs that went off this past weekend never should have taken place. Read my blog. There were actually several other terrorist attacks, but the media won't tell you about that. They were in Iraq. They were in Indonesia, I believe, and one other place. Yeah, it was a busy weekend for the caliphate. Several were killed. One man was beheaded in Iraq. That's right. One man was beheaded Iraq. Several children were blown to pieces by a bomb. And read my blog that I wrote today. That's going to be the United States. And you can thank Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton for bringing terrorism into the United States. And if it continues, it's on their heads, but it's also on the heads of every single Republican that does not support Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is the only candidate that will call Islam for what it is, radical Islam. He will call the enemy out for what it is. Radical Islam is our enemy. ISIS is our enemy. Al-Qaeda is our enemy. And the reason behind it, Islam. Okay? I said it. Radical Islam. Radical Islam. It's not a peaceful religion. I mean, I'm a Christian. We don't behead people. When Donald Trump says that this is like medieval times, it is. This is the stuff that we've seen in movies. From biblical times. This isn't 2016, but it is. It is thanks to your president that I didn't vote for. And it's also Hillary Clinton and her policies, her failed policies. See, we wouldn't have the Syrian refugees here if we had done something about the red line. But Obama didn't want to do anything about his imaginary red line. No, Obama doesn't do anything. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Obama does a lot when it comes to the terrorists. Obama is not on the side of the Americans. Hillary Clinton is not on the side of Americans. You know what the biggest threat to our nation's security is? Two people. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And get that straight. Okay, people, let me ask you, do you like the fact that tomorrow when you send your children to school, you don't know if a Muslim is going to blow up the school? Do you like the fact that you don't know when you go out for dinner if some Muslim is going to shoot up the place? Do you like the fact that you don't know if a truck or a bus is going to go through a street, a busy street where you have sidewalk restaurants like Nice? Do you like the fact that now when you go to a mall, you don't know if some Muslim nut, like the Somali man, 22-year-old in Minnesota, you don't know if when you go to a mall, if you're safe anymore. You don't know. Didn't have to be this way. America was safe. They were over there. We were here. And we have every right, by the way. When Donald Trump first said, ban all Muslims, and everybody came down on him. Paul Ryan, you are such a wuss. God, am I sick of you. Sorry, God, sorry. A president has every right to ban a group of people from coming into the country if they are part of an organization that threatens the United States and its people. People. The religion of Islam, just the religion of Islam, doesn't even have to be radical Islam. The religion of Islam, directly with its Sharia law, threatens not only our citizens, but our Constitution. It threatens our laws. Because that's the other point I'd like to make, is if these people come in, well, we've already got 110,000, but if they start to take office, if they start taking political office, they can enact Sharia law, which has already taken place in one town in Minnesota. It's already taken place in France, several cities in the UK as well. Oh, and Australia. So that is where it's okay to beat women. That's where it's okay to kill women if they want to leave. That's where it's okay to do honor killings if your daughter wears the wrong outfit or dates a non-Muslim boy. Thanks to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, we are now going back in time into medieval time. We are not safe. Get that straight. We are not safe. Ladies, I would strongly advise you take a gun safety course, take a concealed weapons course, get a concealed weapon. Because I have to say, the other night when I saw the two men, nothing happened. But you know what? Sure would have been nice. I'm in the process of getting my concealed weapons permit. Sure would have been nice if I had had a gun if something had happened, because that's the bottom line. That's where we're different from other countries, that we do have the right to have guns. All right, everyone. I'm going to sign off now. I hope Americans are angry. I hope you're angry enough to call your congressmen, call your senators that are not supporting Donald Trump. On the previous blog, I have all the phone numbers of all of the active congressmen and senators that are not supporting Donald Trump, because the blood will be on their hands if Donald Trump loses this election. Personally, I don't think he really needs them. However, I don't trust our system. I am extremely leery of fraudulent activity, and we need to, as Donald Trump would say, this is a movement, and we need to make that movement and drive that movement right to the polls and have so many votes so that there is no contest and no question as to who our next president is. Because America, if you want to keep your children safe, if you want to keep your parents safe, if you want to keep your friends safe, if you want to keep your gay friends safe, you need to vote for Donald Trump now. Vote on November 8th. And check out my blog and check out my latest blog so you can call the numbers. This is Sean Bianca with Clean TV Live. Until next time, good night.